Whether you believe in God or not, we all have to agree on something. Religion, just like every political, philosophical, or sociological movement, has given us plenty of opportunities to murder each other without any moral consequences. Was that offensive? Let me know in the comments. The algorithm is my god, and it needs to be fed at all times. Today we'll be talking about the Crusades, by the way, hence my very biting remark, with an action-adventure game called Knights of the Temple: Infernal Crusade, released in 2004 by Starbreeze Studios. Don't worry though, as in this game's crusade we'll be saving the world from the demonic forces of evil, none of that conquering and political conspiracy stuff. So let's don our divine suit of armor, draw our big-ass sword, and crusade all over the bad guys. Oh yeah, it's Deus vaulting time, baby.
I always knew my destiny. My father was a man of faith and a heroic crusader who fought valiantly for the cause of good. The stories of his honor and triumph seemed infinite, and in truth, I never grew tired of hearing them. When news of his death during a crusade in the Holy Land reached us, I decided to emulate him to the best of my ability. I dedicated myself to become a Knight of the Temple, as father had wanted. I diligently studied the arts of fighting and the word of God, and I was finally accepted within the Templar Knights. It was the first step on a journey that would change my life, and the world as we all knew it.
In Knights of the Temple, you play as a Knight of a Temple. Surprising. Our hero, Paul Dirac, has to go on a crusade to save his beloved Adele from the clutches of an evil bishop, who aims to use Adele's divine power to perform the dark ritual of the Unholy Circle, which will pretty much make him the new Satan. It will open the gates of hell, eternal damnation, the usual. Wait a minute, the character's name is Paul? Paul the Crusader? Come on guys, seriously? What next? Jim the Knight? Oh fucking hell. Anyway, Paul must venture forth and fight his way through monasteries, villages, castles, the Holy Land of Jerusalem, and the unholy land of Florida, hell. Yeah, you go to hell in this game and fight a bunch of zombies and demons. It's pretty weird. I have to admit, I had to look up the plot on Wikipedia, because I was so distracted by how low quality the pre-rendered cutscenes were. I didn't pay any attention. It doesn't matter though, the plot is as basic as it can get. Kill the bad guy, save the damsel in distress, receive God's favor, and probably a divine high five for murdering a bunch of people. Just the way I like it. It's all you need really to get the action going, there is no need for a complex narrative, it's just a simple hack and slash game after all. If I had to describe Infernal Crusade's presentation in one word, it would be competent. It won't blow your mind, but it's a pretty good looking game nonetheless. As I mentioned before, there is a large variety of places you'll explore, and they all manage to be on point with their atmosphere and theming. Europe is full of dimly lit catacombs and dark, mysterious tombs. The villages have that classic drab and depressing medieval atmosphere, very historically accurate indeed. Jerusalem is sunny, full of sand, and brightly lit, as you fight your classic scimitar-wielding enemies under the blazing sun. Hell is red and full of lava. I don't think anyone expected anything different. Although the lighting is a bit brighter than I expected, even in the darker areas, each level is unique and interesting and doesn't overstay its welcome. Granted, the textures and models aren't as detailed as I would have liked for a 2004 game, and the animations are all over the place, with some of them being too floaty and some others being too choppy. Even the pre-rendered cutscenes look like shit, but it's fine really, because the game's environments evoke feelings of comfiness and nostalgia, and that's good enough for me. The music though wasn't good enough for me. I don't know, the combat tracks felt very generic and uninspired. Perfectly serviceable action music, but nothing that stood out. The ambient tracks, however, were much more interesting, perfectly capturing the atmosphere of each level, while also having a mysterious essence to them. All in all, Knights of the Temple is a fairly presentable game graphics-wise, with its music doing exactly what it needs to do and nothing more. Nothing fancy or remarkable, but the comfy medieval atmosphere along with its adventurous tone will hook you in for a good time. Knights of the Temple is like a good old 80s action movie, or porno, whichever you prefer. The plot is basic, characterization is almost non-existent, and the game wastes no time throwing you to the action. We start the adventure at the monastery, killing crazy monks who flail their butter knives around and scream like the junkies from Max Payne. Not a very heroic start to our crusade, but things get better as we progress through the story. In case it's not obvious already, we have a pure hack and slash type of game on our hands. You have a light and a strong attack, and as you kill more enemies and acquire new weapons, your rank increases and you unlock new combos to dispatch your foes more efficiently. You can use simple combos, which are multi-hit chains of light and strong attacks, or advanced combos, which use up your stamina but have some added functionality to them, like a guard break attack or an area of effect stunning strike. But of course, you cannot be a powerful paladin without some spells. Thankfully, Adele's spirit form appears every now and then to grant us new prayers that allow us to unleash our divine power. Why can't she give us all the spells at once? Maybe she doesn't really want to be saved and enjoys getting tortured by the bishop, who knows? In any case, you have a healing spell, a magic field of invulnerability, an overpowered shockwave attack, and a pitiful fireball. It's quite funny that when you have to heal yourself, you drop to your knees and pray, and no one dares stop you. The Lord's power is just that great. Spells are all fine and dandy, if you're a nerd. What about weapons? You have a selection of 4 you can use, your trusty sword, an axe, a mace, and a bow for long-range combat. Every melee weapon is functionally the same. The combos don't change, the finishing moves don't change, and all that does change is your damage output and the weapon's appearance. As for the bow, you aim in first person, adjust your aim, and fire. It's that easy. Although archery is pretty strong, I barely used it, since enemies were constantly surrounding me and smacking me like oversized mosquitoes. As the saying goes, the sword beats the arrow, or something like that, I don't know. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the combat. It's simple, straightforward, and intuitive. But how does it feel? Not that great, I'm afraid. Enemies have a greater reach than you and stun lock you constantly. There is also no rhyme or reason behind their attacks. Sometimes they attack once and never again, and other times they pull off a 30-hit combo. It becomes especially noticeable when you enter Jerusalem, where the enemies turn into human blenders that attack non-stop and block your every single attack. It gets pretty frustrating until you unlock the windmill attack. Then it gets pretty damn easy, because it's a fast and very damaging combo that gives you hyper armor. It ended up being my only attack near the end of the game, which made the combat repetitive and kinda boring. Thankfully, there are simple puzzles you can solve, which breaks the monotony of constantly slashing foes. And when I say simple, I mean really ridiculously simple. Grab the key, match the symbols, turn the crank. Calling them puzzles is hyperbole, to be honest, but still they provide a much needed break from all the action. Overall, it's an enjoyable but very simplistic game. The levels are incredibly linear, there are no extra areas to explore and no secrets to find, except for weapon and spell upgrades. The experience pretty much devolves into entering a room, killing 3 guys, entering the next room, killing another 3 guys, and so on. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but thankfully the game is short, as it runs out of steam pretty quickly. Knights of the Temple is an enjoyable little hack and slash game with a serviceable story and presentation. Sure, the combat is janky and the game is a bit glitchy. I remember soft locking myself once because an enemy died and his key spawned outside the locked gate, and there was a hard crash at the final boss fight, among other graphical oddities. Even so, I enjoyed my time with the game and I'd easily replay it at a higher difficulty. It's nothing extraordinary or memorable, but at the end of the day, it's just a neat experience with fun gameplay that will give you a good time for a few hours at least. For me, that's a pretty good deal. And that's all I had to say about Knights of the Temple, Infernal Crusade. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stuff, you know how it goes. Have a great day, and until next time, take care and have fun.